Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you love real talk about games, not sugar-coated PR spins, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into some insane developments in the gaming world. Nintendo's bold $80 pricing move, The Last of Us getting yet another re-release, and how TV shows and movies are literally reviving entire games from the dead. We'll also talk about a new surprise launch that might just shake up the world of football games. Buckle up, because this episode is loaded. Sean Layden, former PlayStation boss, recently had a very candid conversation with Player Driven, and let's just say, he didn't hold back. When talking about software pricing, he laid it out like this. Games used to be free, or close to it. Then they became $60, then $70. And now Nintendo is going full turbo and saying, you want to play Mario? That's $80, my friend. But here's the catch. Nintendo can do that. Why? Because they own some of the most beloved franchises in gaming history. Mario, Donkey Kong, Zelda. No one else has those. And more importantly, no one else can have those. So while Sony and Microsoft are playing the multi-platform game, literally, Nintendo is doing the exact opposite. They're saying, you want our games? Buy our console. Open your wallet. Let's break it down. Xbox is putting their games everywhere. PC? Check. Steam? Yup. Game Pass on your toaster? Probably next week. Sony was more hesitant, but now they're bringing God of War and Spider-Man to PC too. Meanwhile, Nintendo's sitting back watching and laughing. They don't need to go multi-platform. In fact, not doing it is making them even more money. Their games don't just sell, they print cash. Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom moved millions, and only on one platform. Imagine if Mario Kart dropped on PlayStation and PC. It would sell 200 million units. But Nintendo doesn't care. Their business model is locked. And for them, it works. Let's get into the meat of it. Are these insane prices justified? Layden tried to spin the whole cost of living, inflation, dollar value narrative. And sure, inflation matters. Development costs have skyrocketed. Games take longer to make, need bigger teams, and marketing budgets are through the roof. But here's the problem. Pricing in games is not transparent. We don't know how long a game took to make. We don't know the real cost. We just see a $70 or $80 price tag, and we're expected to accept it. And don't forget, back when games were $60, you got the whole game. No day one patches, no battle passes, no microtransactions. Now you pay more, and you get less. Unless you pay even more for the Deluxe Edition. It's a hustle. Nintendo knows this, but they don't need to hide it. Their fans are loyal, almost cult-like. If they release a $90 WarioWare tomorrow, people would still pre-order it. Speaking of pricing insanity, let's talk about The Last of Us Complete Edition. Out of nowhere, Sony dropped this on us. Both Part 1 and Part 2, let that sink in. You're getting both games, sure. But these games have been released, remastered, remade, reissued more times than we can count. The Last of Us, 2013. Then the remaster, 2014. Then the remake, 2022. Then the PC port. Now the Complete Edition. What's next? The Last of Us. Infinite Loop Edition? To be fair, the bundle is cheaper than buying both separately, so technically, Sony is giving you a deal. But that doesn't change the fact that this is the 5th release of the same game in a decade. It's getting out of hand. Or is it? Because people are still buying, and Sony knows this, so they'll keep doing it. Let's shift gears. Remember what happened to Cyberpunk 2077 after the Edgerunners anime hit Netflix? The game exploded in popularity. Sales soared. Player counts hit all-time highs. Same thing is happening now with Fallout. The new series is a hit, and suddenly Fallout 4 and New Vegas are back in the top charts. People are rediscovering the games, or playing them for the first time, because the show worked. And now, it's Minecraft's turn. The movie's a hit with kids, and what happens? Boom. Active players up 30%. A game that's over a decade old suddenly feels brand new. That's the power of cross-media synergy. Gaming studios are finally realizing this isn't just a side hustle, It's a main revenue stream. Get the adaptation right, and the game's success follows. Okay, let's talk about something new. The studio behind Sifu is dropping a football game called Remake on July 19th. Yes, a football game. From the same devs that brought you one of the most brutal hand-to-hand action games in years. It sounds weird, but it could be genius. Even better? It's launching day one on Game Pass. That means if you've got a subscription, you can try it at no extra cost. And if the gameplay is even half as good as Sifu's combat system, we might be looking at the next big surprise hit of 2025. Let's bring it all together. Nintendo is doing its own thing, and winning. Sony is doubling down on their biggest franchises, over and over. Xbox is flooding the market and betting big on Game Pass. Meanwhile, prices keep climbing. $70, $80, maybe even $90 soon. What used to be a luxury hobby is starting to feel like a high-stakes investment. And for what? For the same games re-released again and again? The only way this changes is if we change. If people stop buying every re-release, if we stop accepting $80 base games with $30 DLCs on top. But will that happen? Probably not. Because for every gamer complaining on Reddit, there's another one smashing the pre-order button. So, what have we learned? Nintendo doesn't care about your wallet, because they don't have to. The Last of Us will never stop being re-released. And if your game gets a good show or movie, it'll skyrocket all over again. The game industry is changing fast, but the rules aren't the same for everyone. Some companies can charge whatever they want because they have what you want. So now I want to hear from you. Would you pay $80 for a Switch game? How many times have you bought The Last of Us? And what game deserves the next Netflix series treatment? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next video. And hey, if you stuck around this long, you're a legend. See you in the next one. Peace.